Cheers, everybody. If you want a mug, $40 super chat, shoot me an email. Brian at the New American Media. Tell me where to mail it. We will get you a New American Media mug. John made these. Look at this. With our logo, New American Media, red, white, and probably a little blue in there. Yeah, I want to get these all out to regulars that want them. So if you want a mug, let me pull it up on the screen here. Captions. There we go. Venmo or Cash App, just use my name. PayPal, the email address is fuzzinstallment@yahoo, or $40 super chat, and just shoot me an email, Brian at the New American Media, once you do, and tell me where you want this mailed if you want a mug for the New American Media. All right, let's get the show. On the road, I've been doing sports shows in the morning. This is different. But you know why? This team just made the playoffs. Playoffs came back from 15 and a half games back of first place. That's the largest deficit ever overcome in Major League Baseball history. It's truly a special season. And I'm a massive sports fan. So much so that I do a sports show that I just did. I have these Ohio-made wooden coasters for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Look at that, nice and thick. There's 4 in here, 4 in here. And then I have a pin for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, if you can see it. There you go. Shoot a donation of $75 over, and I'll get you all 3 of these. If you just want one set of the coasters, they're $30 a piece, shipping included. Just send me your address and tell me if you want the Ohio shape or the circle shape. And if you just want the pin, it's $25. So while we're talking merch and mugs, we also have coasters. Because this is the bar. Welcome to the bar, everybody. Gather in. We've opened the doors. We're going to talk about what's on the TV, shall we? Regular crowd is shuffling in. Trash Panda Marion, others, welcome. Let's get the party started. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral Arm of the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer California, Los Angeles. To be pseudo-specific, my name is Brian Engelman. Today is September 29th, 2025, and this right here is a program that we call the TNAM Daily Show. Who is we? We is the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. I'm trying to get this hat to... feels like a little crooked. Okay, I guess that's kind of on, right? But it's sitting different on my head. Like, I want to wear it differently than I am. Okay. Perfect. Yes, I have my 2016 Cleveland Indians World Series jersey on. It's the Trevor Bauer, the guy who was accused of things, and he called out that he was being extorted, and his career has still been ruined because of it. So go Guardians. I hope we can win the World Series this year. On today's show, we're going to unpack what we think we know about that attack at the church in Michigan. What a terrible thing. And talk about the budget. You know, Democrats want $1.5 trillion for illegal aliens or something. And it's like, that's not a thing. Then, of course, they're going to say, oh, the Republicans are going to try to shut down the government. Yeah, well, you're not in charge, and nobody likes your policies, and we're prioritizing Americans, not illegal alien invaders. So figure it out. They don't want to figure it out. They're agents of chaos. So we'll see how this plays out. I can already tell in my Facebook universe, I've had a couple of conversations with people who are trying to make this point. You know, they're teachers, unionists, and whatever the case may be. You know, God bless them, but no, we're not prioritizing other people. We're prioritizing our veterans. Hey, look at Michigan. If this guy was a troubled veteran, don't you think we could have used more resources to try to help him work through his issues instead of go bonkers allegedly at that church? Don't we have our own homeless problems in our streets? Don't we want to try to find ways to build some affordable condos that young people can move into and get a piece of the American dream, become homeowners and have a bit of a future. So they're less likely to be recruited by communists and Marxists and globalists to try to destroy the entire system. And yes, I have like an eyelash or a cat hair or something, and it's in my left eye and I can't figure out where it's at. I see it. It might just be like a crooked eyelash or a sideways bent eyelash. But those are the stories we're going to cover and more. What are we going to be like? A bunch of trash pandas, right? We're going to dump the trash can upside down. We're going to rifle through the rubbish, and we're going to separate fake news from fact. So that's the plan for today's TNAM Daily Show. Buckle up and let's get started right now.
Your guide to the truth, the new AmericanMedia.com.
All right, everybody. David, John, Marion, everyone joining at their regular bar stools. Belly on up to the bar. Let's talk about the things. Let's go to our profile on X. I think that's what we're going to use today. Make sure you're following us. We're at American_media_. Oh, let me give you a quick update on our YouTube channel. We do have super chats allowed. I think we're $2 away from being able to make a transaction. So if anybody wants to push us over the edge, I think we had a $100 minimum on the transactions, and I did my math. I was like 98 cents off, or twice I was 98 cents off or something. So be aware that you have helped. You have helped us get our super chats going on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. $2 more, and I can actually route it to my bank and test it and make sure that the transactions are functional. So, yes, please do that. But let me give you the update on our hours. Yeah, thank you to Trash Panda and Kenneth and Danette and Sam and everybody who's been throwing super chats our way. $2 more and we can make a transaction, which I'm ready to do immediately to test it and see if there's any glitches we need to know about, because I'm half fingers crossed, holding my breath, wondering if they'll actually let me do it. But also, I want to give you the update on our channel because we are... let me go on my channel. Actually, let me go back. I had it pulled up a second ago. Let's go to... okay, it's not letting me do that. Let me... Okay, let's just do the overview here. We are 603 hours away. 603 pennies in the wishing well away from getting eligibility back on advertisements for the new American Media. So then we can put ads back into our videos. And if I have the, hopefully they'll give you the ability, what type of ad you would like. Because no, I don't want to do a 23-minute infomercial. That's one of the tricks YouTube uses. Channels they don't like, they won't let you put watchable commercials in. They'll put things in that are 33-minute long infomercial things. I'd rather just do a 10-second commercial, get it in, get it out, move right back to the topic. But 600 pennies in the wishing well away, and we'll be able to get advertisements, or at least submit our application to get advertisements again, whether they let us or not. But thank you to everybody, and let's keep that push going on YouTube. 600 more hours and we can get advertisements back. And that's just another tip jar out for the show. Yesterday, trying to cover the sports that I was doing, did not have the logged into the channel that Grok told me was supposed to carry the game, didn't have the game. And it's like, all right, I can't keep doing this. And it's like, well, in order to cover the sports, need to watch the sports. In order to watch the sports, got to sign up for yet another program. It's yet another $180 for a year. So it's like, great, another $15 a month. But luckily, right here on X, if you look, the very first thing pinned is our Patreon page. That's our interview with John B. Wells talking about God, Trump, Biden, the deep state, and World War III. That is our Patreon link. Thank you to everybody who signed up to be a monthly Patreon supporter for the New American Media. The more of those, the better. That's how you get onto it, is clicking that link right there. David's back after an internet outage of 6 days. Yeah, like I said, maybe look into getting some Starlink. That might be a good, you could be connected to some municipal source. Or you could just be linked up to the satellites anyway and kind of bypass it. So let's go through some posts here. Elon Musk. How do I make this bigger? There we go. He says, funny to think that Bill Clinton's policies when he was president were essentially MAGA. Immigration in 96, the 94 crime bill, welfare reform. What? Grok is getting weird. I had to put actually, I'm going to respond to Grok. At Grok, we've never. What would I say? We've never requested a community note against Grok until this post. What are you doing? Anyway, yeah, a lot of people are kind of comparing and contrast today's Democrat Party to what came before, and it's unrecognizable. Whatever's happening now, it's just very different. It's a very different world that we live in. All right, so Chicago Ray is going to ask us, because we're hearing about 274 FBI agents. Well, okay, so to clarify, they're not saying that they were all dressed up as Trump supporters. Many or most of those are said to have been deployed there after an unlawful gathering was assembled or declared, or after they called it a riot or the disbursement, or I forget exactly what terminology it was. But no, if people are reporting that there were 274 undercover fake MAGA people there at January 6th, please know that's not accurate. But that being said, don't forget about Ray Epps. We need answers already, and we need them yesterday.
As soon as President Trump is finished speaking, we are going to the Capitol. It's that direction. That's where our true problems lie. President Trump is done speaking. We are going to the Capitol. That's where our problems are. Okay, folks, we need your help. As soon as President Trump stops speaking, we are going to the Capitol. The Capitol's in that direction. Let people know. Spread the word.
I mean, this guy thought nobody was going to notice who he was. So we still don't really, we haven't held this guy accountable in my estimation. All right.
To doing a ban on ICE agents.
Let's check in with ICE, because ICE is going after and making arrests now, finally. Portland, Chicago, other places. They're going after the Antifa domestic terrorists, the radical wing of the Democrat Party. The Democrats have turned into domestic terrorists, and they've been this way for a while. But I think just finally calling it out for what it is very crucial to getting our country back on track. you can disagree on what percentage of our GDP and, this program and that program. And, well, I don't quite think we should be prioritizing this. And you can have disagreements without turning traitorous, without turning violent, without calling for assassinations or celebrating assassinations. But this Democrat Party is not doing that because they are not that. They are not Bill Clinton's party. And of course, it's easy to say that when Bill Clinton has been named on the Epstein list so much. And you wonder if it's Trump essentially just having to run cover for a former president, even though the former president Obama was not running cover for him. Maybe it's that he shows more loyalty to the position and trying not to ruin their lives, especially since he knows what they've done to ruin his life. Is he acting like Charlie Kirk's wife and being full of forgiveness? Whereas most people are like, I couldn't forgive the person that offed my significant other. No way. And he's like, I've been there, man. I don't want other presidents to have to go through what I went through. So I'm going to block it to protect Billy B, Billy C, Billy Clinton. I don't know. But let's check in. Portland City Councilor Angela Murillo is publicly asking people, well, let's take a listen to the report shared by Derek Evans here, former member of the West Virginia House. All right, here we go.
All right, so here's what council is currently looking into. Right now, some of our offices are looking into doing a ban on ICE agents being able to mask up and not be identified. This has been a huge issue because people are getting kidnapped off of our streets, and it could be just
looking off camera, lying. How do I lie about this? Yeah, point to one. You're trying to dox them to keep them from working. That's what you're doing. But I do agree. They should have cards on them that say, I'm agent 45731. Call this number. If this is your loved one, they'll give you an update on what happened here today. Just tell them where this happened, and here's where you can get your update here. I think they should be doing that. I will agree on that. It's not great optics, but they're lying about what's actually happening.
Any random guy in a mask telling you that he's a federal agent when it could just be a kidnapper. So obviously that's a huge issue. There are folks at the congressional level that are trying to get a mask ban passed, but they might not have the votes to do it. And again, because of the supremacy clause, we are trying to look into any and all options, but that doesn't mean that we are going to be able to pass something that will actually be able to be implemented. Councillor Samir Kanal is researching policies regarding munitions and tear gas because we know that's something that is heavily impacting the health of our residents in Portland. My office has taken more of the data and surveillance privacy approach because I think that the next frontier of fighting fascism is going to be immense government surveillance. So that
she's still calling it fascism to have immigrations and customs enforcement, to remove the people that snuck in illegally. She's calling that fascist to comply with the law. Absolutely irresponsible rhetoric.
Includes anything from license plate readers to facial recognition technology. And it would be really helpful if people who are on the ground, who are able to see some of that technology that ICE is using, if you could photograph it and send it to our offices, that's all information that we can use to try to figure out where we need to target, because
they're trying to target and stop ICE from doing the job of removing the people that snuck into this country from parts unknown, intentions unknown, criminal background unknown, military-aged men who have invaded this country. She's trying to stop the removal of the people who snuck into this country, potentially with bad intentions. To say, excuse me, you're going to need to walk with me. You don't have your wristband on. You didn't walk in through the front door. You're coming with me. You're going to have to go back around to the end of the line and wait in line to get back into the nightclub. Okay? It's not outrageous.
It's not freely available to us, all of the tools that they have at their disposal. Recently, advocates put together this list of recommendations, some of which we're already working on and some of which are new ideas to us that will be very helpful. We are already working on the tear gas aspect of that, and I have privately and publicly.
So if you want less tear gas, you want more hands-on violence. That's what you're advocating for. Because these are riots. These are people looking for street fights that have been allowed to get away with street fights for half a decade or more in these big blue cities. If you get rid of tear gas, you want more batons and more bullets instead of something that can disperse the crowd? Doesn't sound smart, lady. I don't know that you've thought much of this stuff through.
That I have asked Mayor Wilson to stop doing sweeps on the medic tent at McAdam because it is absolutely essential for protesters to stay safe, and to stop sweeping the tables that are providing legal resources to people who desperately need them right now. Unfortunately, that is a decision that is ultimately being made by Mayor Wilson and by Portland Solutions. So I ask that you put pressure on his office because I have already done everything I can on that level.
Actively working against stabilizing our country. All right, let's check in at the professors at Utah Valley University, where Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
Hey guys, so this week I've been doing my own little off-piece Charlie Kirk investigation. Many of you guys have been following along. I've connected a lot of dots between the CIA, the LDS community, the Utah Valley University system, and academic centers in Israel, like the Jerusalem Center and Ariel University. I think I've kind of like reached the end of my investigation, and also I'm like kind of getting nervous. Like I couldn't sleep last night at all. But my main question now is, and I would like to turn it over to the authorities, Kash Patel, Donald Trump, this is kind of like for you to answer now. There was a CIA professor at Utah Valley University, Rusty Needs. He was with the CNSS. I saw his bio, his photo just a few days ago, like 2 days ago. I took this picture from the website. I got his bio, everything, and he has now like disappeared. I can't find it anywhere online. If anyone can find it, please let me know. I did have this, which is still on the Facebook page. Anyway, where is Rusty Needs? Hashtag where is Rusty Needs? The CIA agent that works at Utah Valley University. Why has he gone ghost online? Okay, what do you guys think? Comment below. Hey guys, okay, this is a follow-up to my video yesterday on Rusty Needs, the CIA professor at Utah Valley University whose profile has gone missing. Okay, I did this video yesterday and now AI is saying that these people don't exist. The 6 people that I named don't exist and it's all fiction. Does anybody know if any of these people are real people at Utah Valley University? Okay, so I used AI to search the Wayback Machine, and here are the dates and removals. So his profile was fully accessible on September 24th, 2025, but taken down between September 24th and September 26th. He looks to be the first taken down, followed by 6 others, also in the CNSS spy school or tied to campus security. These include Dr. Elena Vasquez, National Security Policy Whiz, Professor Mark Harlan, Counterintelligence Ethics Expert, Sarah Klein, Event Logistics Liaison, Jamal Reed, Track Coach with Security Ties, T. Ramirez, Intelligence Simulations Analyst, and L. Patel, Event Planning Coordinator. Now, get this, yesterday I got a message from @HumanitiesGirly on TikTok saying, hey, so they removed the entire UVU directory from the internet to protect faculty and staff. It's not just him, it's everyone. And then instantly she went ghost. Her profile said not found. So now everyone's profile is down. CNSS, Rusty's department, definitely contributed to Kirk event planning via briefings, but Utah Valley Police ran the security. Also interesting is that at the same time that those 7 profiles were dropped from the website, President Tumina's quietly removed her significant ties to Zions Bank and Carnegie. What do you guys think? Comment below.
People are still digging in, trying to figure out who and why. Very few are believing the official story that it was just one dopey kid. 6 more professors since the assassination with ties to intelligence and security specialties. Let's see what's going on over here, what this guy is bragging about.
When the local ICE facility orders food for like delivery and I'm bringing them their food, I don't bring them their food. I get it canceled. I just take it. If you're a socialist like me and you believe in a future like Star Trek, then come join my page. I know we're all cautious about who to follow nowadays, but just so you know, I hate Charlie Kirk. I love Star Trek. When the
local socialist, good for you. Let's check in on the protesters, huh? They seem reasonable.
I don't want to be a violent person, but in this case, I feel like that we just need to.
I don't want to be a violent person, but I would say in this case, we just need to.
I hate to say the word, but assassinate him.
assassinate him. The left have turned into an assassination cult.
What was your reaction this July when the assassin almost got Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania? Happy that
She was happy that an assassin shot President Trump. There's no reasoning with these people. I know there's forgive and forget. There's, well, maybe not forget, but there's forgiveness, but there's also justice. There's justice. These people cannot be reasoned with. They are actively encouraging a coup, a violent civil war, an overthrow of our country. The duly elected leader being taken out by an assassin's bullet. She's supporting it. She's happy.
he missed or happy that it happened?
No, happy that it happened.
Oh.
And too bad that it wasn't in the head.
It's too bad that it wasn't in the head.
What was your reaction in July when an assassin came an inch away from ending Trump?
Disappointment.
And this guy was disappointed that they didn't get a political assassination to ram through their New World Order agenda. These are the people you're up against. There is no middle ground here.
That they didn't follow through. They missed.
She got shot.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh. It could have been wonderful.
It could have been wonderful.
If he'd been shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can sum it up in one word.
Sums up the fact that the assassin missed in one word: drat.
Drat that it happened or drat that it missed?
Drat that it missed. I won't lie.
Active. They can't win because nobody likes them. Nobody likes their policies. So they want to kill you if you're not on their team. This is a mental illness, and it's coming from CNN, MSNBC. It's coming from the schools. It's coming from the Democrat politicians. And this shit has to stop. These people are being absolutely brain damaged and abused. MK Ultra. I don't know what type of brainwashing it takes to start encouraging political assassinations.
I do not support violence in any way.
Oh, I feel like there's a but.
I think I'm going to let you finish it, Charles. Go ahead.
I'm so shy and reserved. My thought was, if he'd had a good scope instead of a red dot, we would not be going through this. I consider that kid to be a hero. But that was an act of a patriot as far as I'm concerned.
Considers the assassin in Butler a hero. This is who you're up against. So while Erica Kirk's like, I forgive my killer, they're not going to stop trying to kill you. You've got to take control of the schools and the media and the Democrat Party. They have become violent domestic terrorists. I don't want this. I'm guessing you, the viewer, don't want this. But this is what you're up against. These people want blood. If you don't bow down to everything they demand, they want you dead. They hate you. They've declared war against you. They're openly bragging about it and lamenting the miss and cheering for it. Katie Miller says, if you have any curiosity who is stoking the violence against our brave ICE officers, this is the premiere episode of NBC Law & Order this week. Why is NBC condoning this on their air? NBC's Law & Order, SVU, portrays ICE agents as villains who are allowing rape. That's NBC for you. All right, let me go back. Keep it going. All right, so what is going here? Shadow of Ezra says Elon Musk has now publicly declared that the ADL harbors hatred toward Christians and has labeled the organizations as a hate group. ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt, in his own words, compares Christianity to a virus and claims it's the root of anti-Semitism. Well then, he points to the historic accusation that the Jews killed Christ as fueling centuries of hatred. Greenblatt concluded that being critical of Zionism automatically makes someone an anti-Semite. Get a load of all this. What side are you on?
Anti-Semitism is a bit of like a virus. And like some viruses, it exists in the kind of body politic and it's dormant, like chickenpox.
ADL has said Christian identity, extremism, hate, or terrorism.
You get chickenpox as a young person, and then after the kind of inflammation subsides, it's still in you. And it can manifest again when you're older because of stress or age as shingles. Although you can get inoculated and you can prevent that from happening. So I think anti-Semitism is similar. It's like this contagion. It's as old as time, right? We face it for thousands of years. First it was, after the death of Christ, there were these accusations.
These were accusations or accurate explanations?
Christ. There were these accusations that the Jews killed Christ.
And who is he contending did it then?
That the Jews weren't a real religion because we didn't accept Christ and that we didn't accept Muhammad. So you have this, the Jewish religion isn't legitimate, and that was the basis for the Crusades, which is at Tish B'Av, which, remembers
this
the
guy's
expulsion.
Throwing a lot of stuff. Basis for the Crusades. Okay, let's double down. What are you saying about the Crusades too?
A real religion because we didn't accept Christ and then we didn't accept Muhammad. So you have this, the Jewish religion isn't legitimate, and that was the basis for the Crusades, which is at Tish B'Av, which, remembers the expulsion. We had inquisitions. We had all these horrible things. And then, after the Age of Reason, it was, maybe, and they realized that the sun doesn't revolve around the earth and the earth isn't flat. Then it was, okay, maybe Judaism is okay as a religion, but it's the Jewish race that isn't legitimate. And then we saw kind of anti-Semitism metastasize into this kind of race-based form of hate, which of course exploded with the Shoah. And then after the tragedy of that, the injustice of that was exposed, people then said, it's not that their religion is illegitimate or their race is illegitimate. Now it's the Jewish state that's illegitimate.
The thing that was put there in 1947, are you telling me that people couldn't possibly have that opinion? I don't like the way this is being framed. Either you're with us or against us. This is very George W. Bushian. Either you're with us or you're against us. Well, I'm an American. I have no allegiance to what's going on over there. It doesn't make me whatever slur you want to call me.
And we see that now in the form of anti-Zionism, which is anti-Semitism.
No, it's not, as you look up and off to the side. You claim you're special and you're God's chosen people. I mean, you have your religious bearings and teachings that you want to believe in. It doesn't make you right. And no, that's not anti-Semitism if you don't think that state should be there. It's a difference of opinion. People can have different opinions, and that doesn't make them anti-anything. By the way, according to Grok, since I've already told Grok it's drunk, Jesus was crucified by the Romans under Pontius Pilate's orders, influenced by Jewish leaders. Theologically, many Christians view his death as part of a divine plan, not the fault of a group. Blaming a group collectively is inaccurate and has fueled harmful stereotypes. Well, they were part of the groups. That's historically accurate. No, it's not anti-anything to point out reality that Jewish leaders were influencing the execution of Jesus Christ. That's factual. As much as you can believe that the Bible is factual, read it. According to Grok, according to this guy, it's the accusation that Jews were involved in killing Christ that's fueling centuries of hatred. Or that's not it at all, and you're trying to change the subject. So I'm not a big fan of that guy, it doesn't seem like. Captain Dylan Blaha, a Democrat running for Congress in Illinois, urges all military members to what? Take a listen.
My name is Captain Dylan Blaha, and this message is for all U.S. military service members, especially every general and admiral meeting with Pete Hegseth on Tuesday. I'm a 13-year U.S. Army veteran who served in Afghanistan and wrote war plans while stationed at U.S. Army Europe. This morning, Donald Trump directed Pete Hegseth to deploy the U.S. military to Portland, Oregon. This is the latest illegal attempt to normalize.
He has a responsibility to protect the federal buildings that are being attacked in an effort fueled on by the domestic terrorists of the Democrat Party to push for civil war in this country. We have every right to have immigrations and custom enforcement. And if you've snuck into the country, you need to go back to wherever it was that you snuck in from. You're the one that's picking a fight with the bouncer. It's not the other way around. The bouncer isn't going out of their way to mess with anybody. They have a responsibility, and they're doing it. You seem to be totally backwards, sir.
Normalized the use of the military in U.S. cities. He authorized the military to use, quote, full force. This...
and it's been upheld by all the courts. It's been resolved, so deal with it.
Is authoritarianism.
No, it's not authoritarianism and fascism. It's been handled in the courts.
This is fascism.
No, it's not. Stop putting out anti-American propaganda.
U.S. military is not a law enforcement force, and all federalized service members must abide by the Posse Comitatus Act. All members of the United States military must disobey illegal...
He sounds like a backward oath keeper. He doesn't understand that it's within the president's obligations, not only his purview. He's obligated to defend ICE facilities. These are federal facilities that are under attack by domestic terrorists. You're damn right they're going to defend it.
Orders. I was just following orders is not a valid...
Nope, not war crimes. This is stopping an overthrow, stopping a coup.
Defense against war crimes. Grow a spine and stand up for your fellow Americans. Otherwise, you are complicit in this fascist takeover. We're running out of time.
Yeah, fascist takeover. That's called treason right there. So Nick Sorter here says there was a LGB whatever activist with a Make Assassinations Great Again bumper sticker on her car, and she didn't pay the website bill for her cafe. I don't know what that means. So a patriot brought it out from under her, bought it out, and redirected it to Turning Point's donation site. What's going on? Hey, let me watch this. Oh, so they bought the website for fishnetcafe.com, and now it goes to Charlie Kirk's because they had a Make Assassinations Great Again bumper sticker on the car. TPUSA's Andrew Colvett. Hi, bud. A 32-year-old radical LGBT activist named Susanna Da Silva of Topsham, Maine, now goes by Ray Da Silva, born female, owns a restaurant, Fishnet Cafe on Bailey Island, Maine, with their wife, Ashley. DHS now has this, confirms they've launched an investigation. Will no longer stand idly by while radical leftists call to kill patriots in our country, make her famous. Make assassinations great again. Yeah, that's pretty non-ambiguous. That is a direct call for specific treason. So there you go. Robbie Starbuck says Roger Goodell and the NFL just decided to make the Super Bowl political by picking Bad Bunny as the 2026 Super Bowl music act. The guy literally says he isn't touring in the U.S. because of Trump's ICE raids and just released a video mocking President Trump. Also, most of his songs aren't even in English. This is not a pick designed to unite football fans or let people just enjoy the show. It was a pick designed to divide fans, and no doubt Bad Bunny will find some way to push a woke message. Are NFL owners in on this idiocy, or are they just culturally that disconnected from reality in how Roger Goodell uses the NFL to push left-wing social issues? Is it that hard to pick a unifying music act that doesn't want to peddle woke propaganda? Does this guy really scream American football to anyone? Be for real with me. No one thinks he does. This isn't about music. It's about putting a guy on stage who hates Trump and hates MAGA. Right Angle Network says breaking, the ADL has just labeled Christians and Charlie Kirk's TPUSA as organizations that promote hate and terror and extremism. Christian identity promotes hate or terrorism. Screw you. Unless I'm misunderstanding this. So here's Eric Swalwell. Can't stop. He needs to be indicted soon. Here we go. Well, and by the way, on the heels of James Comey's indictment and other indictments on the way, like just go. Go to Swalwell as quick as possible. Oh, let me change that. There we go, so you can see it.
Well, first, we are making it clear that we're going into the majority a year from now. We have
I'm sorry, what? He thinks he's going into the majority. There's no universe where people support Democrats.
every intention to do that, and so we will bring oversight, accountability. We will subpoena the Department of Justice, but also private actors who have done these drug deals with the administration, college campuses, entertainment companies, law firms. And so accountability is coming. And so, one, it's all coming out. Two, I hope that deters people from doing more of these deals, these one-offs with the president. One other point, though, on
you're threatening anyone working with the president. Okay. Yeah, we see you, Swalwell.
Comey, Kate, this happened when Donald Trump.
They're going to target and investigate private citizens who work with President Trump when Democrats win in 26.
Was president. So if you're trying to tell me this is not politically motivated, the statement that they're referring to where he allegedly lied, Donald Trump was president. So why didn't you indict him then?
They're announcing their plans to weaponize government. That's what they did before, and that's why they do not have any ability to lead, and they should not be trusted ever again. Danette, there is no misunderstanding this. We are in a nosedive as a country. We are a hijacked and occupied nation. Hey, grab your lawn chair. Sit down and enjoy the show. Reuters reporting U.S. President Donald Trump is hosting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss President Trump's 21-point Gaza peace proposal. Coverage will be there on Reuters. That was from an hour ago. Tony Lane says a massive walkout alert. Over 100,000 federal employees are expected to resign, setting up what could be the largest exodus in U.S. history. These are career bureaucrats who don't want accountability. The system is finally being exposed for what it is. The question is this a crisis or the reset that America needs? Elon talking about Sky News. Sky says Elon Musk and Prince Andrew named in latest Epstein files release. Elon says, shame on Sky News for this utterly misleading headline. Anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Epstein tried to get me to go to his island, and I refused, yet they named me even before Prince Andrew, who did visit. Let's talk about this shooter. This stupid thing, Thomas Jacob Sanford. I'll say the name once so that you can have the info out there. I will not continue doing it. Suspect in Michigan church shooting, per reports. He was shot and ended during the incident. They say it was a 42-year-old military vet, reportedly has anti-Trump Pence sign on fence attached to his garage. But if you look at it, there's a Trump Pence sign and then there's a stop sign. But we asked Grok and it's like, no, that's not quite what's happening here. It wasn't an anti-Trump Pence sign. It was a Trump Vance sign above a stop sign. I don't know what the Hindustan Times is, but it's pro-Trump, not stop Trump. Authorities haven't confirmed any political motive. This guy crashed a truck with American flags into the church, and then set it on fire and started shooting. Like, absolutely terrible. More attacks on Christians. It's coming from the ADL. It's coming from crazies if you call Latter-day Saints a Christian church, they're sort of, everybody's sort of their own unique thing. So it's tough to paint with broad brushes, but Real Robert is saying that the Michigan Senate Majority Leader, Mike Shirkey, is on camera explaining why the FBI interrupted the official proceedings on January 6th. He says it was all staged. Mitch McConnell wanted it to be a mess so he could secure a Trump impeachment conviction for Pelosi and Schumer. In other words, putting Christopher Wray and 274 plainclothes agents under oath and releasing the rest of the J6 evidence tapes will confirm just that. Once again, most of these 274 were called after the riot was declared to calm things down, not all plainclothes. In other words, absolutely no conjugal visits whatsoever for Mitch, Nancy, and Chuck in prison. Let them deal with each other while in solitary confinement. Wall Street Mav is saying that Canada is trying to force all Canadians to hand in their guns. They have 1 year to get compensation by handing in their guns. Starting October 26, you'll become a criminal if you own a gun. That cannot be true. David, we're asking, hey, Canada, we need strong armed neighbors at the north. What in the world are you allowing? And can you change this? Just a reminder from the American culturist, your ancestors were not evil. I know that sounds weird to say, but the Marxists have been pushing their New World Order for a long time, trying to demonize the founders of this nation. So here you go. New York Times reports the death toll is now 4 victims plus injured after a gunman rammed a vehicle into a Michigan church and shot worshipers. The church was set on fire. That is just vile. 4 dead, 8 wounded. Here's an update on the Epstein case.
Breaking news, House Oversight Chairman James Comer has just issued subpoenas in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Chairman Comer sent 1 subpoena to the Department of Justice for the complete Epstein files and more for depositions from former officials. Those officials include former attorneys general Bill Barr, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, and Merrick Garland. Also, former FBI directors Robert Mueller and James Comey, and both of these people now, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and her husband, former President Bill Clinton. Breaking news, House Oversight.
There you go. Comer issues subpoenas. Clinton's, Holder, Lynch, Garland, Comey, and more. Wall Street Mav says UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says this. Are you hearing this?
I think we need to look at every aspect of illegal migration, upstream, looking at the causes, which of course are often poverty, climate change, persecution. Look at the causes. I think
he says climate change is why millions of third world military-age Muslim men are invading and overthrowing the UK. They weren't safe from climate change in any of the 50-plus Muslim countries. They had to come to the UK for safety. Elizabeth Ward says, Keir Starmer, your policies are making the UK unlivable, unrecognizable, and unsafe. Your loyalties must be to UK citizens, not the millions of Muslims who are destroying your country and culture. Prayers that you're voted out of office now. You want to see? Oh, there's music. I got to mute it. But here's a family just playing volleyball. Here's your moment of zen. I could save this for the end, but I'll give it to you now because it happens to be in front of me. And this is pretty great. Families playing volleyball, then this happens. There you go, hitting the ball. Whoop, an owl comes over. So the whole family's getting into this picture, and the owl ducks down. It's like, what's going on behind me? Wait, let me step into the picture. Whoop, let me duck down. Okay, there we go. Cheers. Family picture time with the owl. That's just a palate cleanser for Kenneth and the others that want my vibes to be up. All right. Laura Loomer says sources at the State Department tell me Dorothy Shea is leading a charge to demand accountability from the corrupt globalist UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres over Escalator Gate. And as a result, she's getting death threats from the radical left and Islamists. Okay. Political violence has no place in America. UN didn't provide security in the building. State Department has to increase security detail. Yep, so this is all sorts of not good. Hey, have you ever played this game? Like one of those captchas? Select all squares that have feds in them. Well, maybe every square. People who have guns here are not going to give them up. How do you change the policy? How do you vote out the people that are going to try to, that are illegally attempting to disarm you? You have no right to be disarmed. You have a right to be strong and defend yourself and defend your country. Who are the traitors that are trying to make your country weak for invasion? David says, this is all the more reason the military has to be involved to control the out-of-control police forces here who will go against the people. Yeah, David, are you moving to Florida? David says, our police force take a pledge to the crown and not to the people. Oh, God, no. Anyway. So, yeah, we're still trying to find this. Why
don't you guys open up the window? Because I think that would probably be illegal.
Why don't you open up the window? I think that would be illegal.
Oh, I know my glasses. I'm just picking up garbage.
Those 300 FBI agents who were there for crowd control, not to break things like we saw going on, and they were never arrested. FBI Don Gino. Howell turns around, captures number one. Well, how do we arrest these people? Protester Gavin Crowell jumps between suspicious actor one in the window.
Do not go in there.
And do not go in there. This guy gets shoved. So he's trying to blame him for it. I gotta mute it because this guy almost knocks him out. The man in black was not placed on an FBI wanted list. So there's a ton of problems going on. And we need to get to the bottom of J6. All right. Bill Maher is the voice of reason. You know you've reached a crescendo point here where Bill Maher is the voice of reason for the Democrat Party. But here goes. Take a listen.
The basic problem we have in America is conservatives think the liberals are insane, and they're not completely wrong. Now, I don't think most liberals are insane, but neither do they make it clear they disapprove of the ones who are, and their cowardice in not marginalizing their own crazies has been their downfall. I couldn't get Neil deGrasse Tyson, a genius scientist and preeminent scientific voice in the media, to agree that it was ridiculous for Scientific American and The Atlantic to be claiming that separating sports by sex doesn't make sense. Yes, it does. Actually, it makes perfect sense. And it's obvious that it does. And there's a lot of stuff like that on the left. And when conservatives see it, they say, I'm sorry, we're just not going to go along with reinventing society, often pointlessly, even if we have to cancel democracy to do it. That's what they're saying. They see gender as only a construct and sex is assigned at birth, and they say, we're not doing that. Transing kids by self-diagnosis with no age limit, no parental notification, and no acknowledgement of social contagion, not doing it. Asylum now covers any reason for anyone to come to America, not doing it. Homelessness is a lifestyle. Natural immunity doesn't count anymore. Whiteness is toxic. Penises in women's prisons. Welcoming the Intifada. We're not doing it. And so, folks, if we are ever going to get back to the old America, that's got to be the Democrats' part of the bargain. Stop coming up with radically new and often terrible ideas, and then in the next breath, insist there be no debate about any of it. That if you don't see it right away and go along, you're bad, stupid, and deplorable. As if you were saying, duh, 2 + 2 = 5. Isn't that obvious? Yeah, it's obvious you can't add. You can't just say shit. Math is racist. Queers for Palestine. Looting is cool. Healthy at any weight. If the men's football team played the women's team, it would be a tie. You can't just say shit. I mean, you can, but it doesn't make it true because you're not Harry Potter. Smug self-righteousness.
Bill Maher is trying his darndest to put the Democrat Party back on track. Are they smart enough to listen? I don't know that I would bet money on that. I just don't think so.
In the defense of some of the dumbest ideas to ever come down the pike is not a formula that's really working for you. Because here's one thing I can promise every liberal in this country. The Democrats can win every election from now until forever. And the people who now hold the reins of power will not give a shit and will not give it back if they think you're still nutty.
They have been nutty. Defending that men and women should be together in sports, it's such a non-starter. Hello, Kenneth. Yep. Here's a reminder that these people, Schiff, Cheney, Swalwell, Raskin, who's the one in the back? Who's that one in the back there? They knowingly committed sedition and treason. Yeah, people are saying, are these
Do not go in there.
What a weird moment.
A radio journalist from Michigan was shooting video that day at the Capitol. What he captured were two, most charitably called, suspicious actors, but they are dressed in such a way that led him to believe that they were government
I feel like this is a trap. If I crawl in there, I'm going to get shot.
agents. And one of them, after the windows had been broken by a protester, it was encouraging people to pull the rest of the glass out.
Anyway, watch it. I can hear the music in the background. But when they're saying they were doing crowd control, you go, yo, you mean crowd control missions like this?
What's the floor plan? Got to work. There's a door to the right. That's a cop. You need to push forward. There's also 2 doors.
What kind of operations were these?
He's getting his disguise on.
Okay, so he's gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear a mask underneath the mask. You should wear this. I'm wondering if I should wear, what do you think I should wear as the hat? Should I wear this or this? Yeah.
Man, there's music. Yeah, we got to get down to it. Emily says if the 274 agents were truly there for crowd control, then why would former FBI Director Ray feel the need to lie about it? And now you are lying to us. The answer is unacceptable, and you all know it. Take a listen.
Who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th? How many were there?
Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number.
Now, were they undercover? They were undercover crowd control? I'm trying to sort this
again,
out.
I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here. I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene.
I find that kind of a remarkable statement, Director. At this point, you don't know whether there were undercover federal agents, FBI agents in the crowd or in the Capitol on January 6th.
I say that because I want to be very careful. There have been a number of court filings related to some of these topics, and I want to make sure that I stick within what's in.
I understand that, but I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene.
Still trying to get to the bottom of it. First, the FBI says the FBI wasn't there, and then the FBI didn't instigate anything. Once again, what's the deal with Ray Epps? Thomas Massey posted this, saying, despite the occasional friction, Ron Paul and Thomas Massey both praised Trump as the best president of their lifetimes, but not correct on everything. Yeah, I mean, they are sort of the true north to the party, but sometimes it'd be very helpful if they would help defeat the bad guys, if you could make any amount of compromise sometimes. I was watching, there's an interesting show, if you missed it over the weekend. Scott Adams had Dr. Drew and Greg Gutfeld at his house. And one of them said it. I don't remember which one of them. Maybe Gutfeld, maybe Adams. They said, like, I like Thomas Massey, but, you know, Thomas Massey, we could never have a Congress full of Thomas Masseys. Yeah, they're ideological, and it's nice to have someone that's so principled, but, you know, government is about concessions and compromise. If you're on a board of directors, you couldn't possibly vote with perfection 100% of the time. You have to do the best you can with where you are, with what you got. And I think Massey misses out on that sometimes. Ron Paul, several other libertarians. When the Democrats never bend, they never waver, they never relent, and they never help, you got to get rid of them first and then be idealistic on the second side. Sometimes I wish they would do that as well. Health Ranger says In response, okay, the skiff says Charlie Kirk was beginning to notice and understand the truth, and they cannot allow that. You don't get assassinated for telling lies. You get that for telling the truth, especially when you're speaking it and waking up millions of people. There are numerous reasons and examples why nobody believes the official narrative of the Kirk assassination. This video goes through many of them and also shows you exactly why people have theories and beliefs that they do. Charlie said some things himself that others have been saying for a long time. The writing is on the wall. It's always the same signs, symbols, and patterns, and there are no coincidences. All we want is the truth, and we will find it. So just, I mean, if nothing else, who is this guy that's wearing a badge? There's music, but I will just take it down. They're just going through filming, and this guy's got a badge on. He notices he's being recorded, and he instantly takes it off and puts it in his pocket. Who are these three? Who are these two? Actually, who's this girl in the back? They all look like they're together. They're pointing up there on the roof. Cop up there. Why didn't he spot a shooter? I don't know. There's a million theories about this, but here's a 20-minute video to check out. Health Ranger says you don't get assassinated for telling lies. You get assassinated for questioning the lies and telling the truth. Brandon Johnson, mayor of Chicago, says deporting criminal illegal immigrants will not help Chicago and that he fully supports them evading ICE. How TF does Chicago manage to keep getting worse mayors? Here's Ray Epps gleefully admiring the work that he claimed to have orchestrated at the Capitol on January 6th. He's like a kid in a candy store or a Fed during a false flag. Look at how happy this guy is. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we did it. Yeah. No volume, but he's a... Anyway. Activist prosecutor Maya Song, who told the Department of Justice there was not enough evidence to indict James Comey, has just been fired by the Trump Department of Justice. Okay, yeah, Comey's obviously guilty. Matt Van Swol says his heart is breaking for the victims of the Southport, North Carolina mass shooting. He says his wife's mother is a musician and plays at the American Fish Company, but thankfully they were not there last night. Suspect was arrested just a few minutes from their home. Shot from a boat into a restaurant. Just so stupid and pointless. Jake Lang holding up signs that America will not fall to Islam. He gets attacked outside the Philadelphia Halal Food Festival. Watch that video if you want. FBI Director Kash Patel confirms Christopher Wray lied to Congress and knew that there were 274 agents in the crowd on January 6th. Time to arrest Wray, too. Per Patel, corrupt leadership sent agents in to perform what they called crowd control duties, which is against FBI standards. So whether they were undercover, whether they were in proper garb, is it a Fedsurrection? Well, the claim is that once the riot was declared, then you went for it. You sent people in to just all hands on deck, but that is not usual. C3 asks if you want your blood to boil, how about the Jack Smith investigation costing taxpayers allegedly over $50 million? All based on a scam with 70% of that paying their salaries. Think about that. The Jack Smith investigators got rich for sedition. Sickening. Sean Fitzgerald, an actual justice warrior, says that the fact that the Cato Institute removed 9/11 as an outlier event, radical Islam, but kept the Oklahoma City bombing, which killed 168 people instead of 3,000. Nearly 50% of the right-wing portion of the chart tells me everything I need to know about what results they were aiming for from the jump. So when people say, oh, most of the domestic terrorism, those are right-wingers, this is what they're using. This is what they're using. You need to say, that's a discredited report that's ignoring the radical Islamist butchery of 3,000 people. 9/11, you may have remembered that. But you'll keep in Oklahoma City bombing. Okay. Because now we're talking, Islamism 143. Yeah, the time with ridiculous numbers. Scott Jennings with the ridiculous argument here. Who's the person? I don't know this kid's name, but here you go.
Can't you just take responsibility for it?
Oh,
he on the left.
But let's not do the he has to take responsibility because he's a Democrat.
I think there's music in this. I can't play it.
I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber.
You want me to take responsibility for the president? I want you to understand that we're in the middle of an epidemic of left-wing violence. They're attacking ICE. They shot Charlie Kirk. It's happening all over the country. Adam's right. It comes from the top down, says this guy. So now we have people here saying it's Donald Trump's fault. Someone shot up an ICE facility. Nobody's saying that. You literally said that. I said Donald Trump created this environment over the last decade. Sat here and said, I need to take responsibility. I'm a 22-year-old YouTuber. You hold me to a higher standard than the man we just listened to. Donald Trump is vomiting vitriol out of his mouth about how the other party is weak and evil. And he said, the party of hate, evil and Satan. Blind yourself to that. Yeah, it is evil what's happening. Did anyone go to church this Sunday? This guy doing a Tunnel to Towers run, wearing Charlie Kirk's shirt. If only more people who moved to America took it as seriously as Raheem. A shooting in Texas Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. Did you hear about that one? John or Danette or Marion. Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino. Russia Today says Americans have recorded a low amount of sex in private. Meanwhile, there's a record high. 1 in 7 U.S. girls are selling their body on OnlyFans to survive. Wow. Michael Schellenberger reminds us that this guy here, Larry Ellison, owner of Oracle, CBS, CNN, and soon TikTok, he wants data centralization and total surveillance, saying, quote, citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Terrifying. Yeah, beware that guy. Federal troops in a fierce standoff with Antifa.
Get back! Get back!
This is all you ever needed to do during the 2020 Summer of Love riots. Just arrest the worst of the worst and keep going until the stupidity stops. That's all you ever needed to do. But the Democrats wanted it to happen.
Get back! Get back!
So finally, some accountability. And that's what Trash Band is saying. We need action and accountability now. $2 super chat. Thank you. Oh, that's cool. Now I got that. And I think I can, let me refresh. Am I able to? You may earn more super chat revenue. Okay, review user agreement. All right, how do I? Cool. Thank you for the super chat, Trash Panda. Now I think I should be able to eclipse the mark of 100, and I can see if I can route it to the bank. And it's great that the program's reinstated. It's a big deal to open up that tip jar. Thank you, everybody. Action and accountability, people. Thomas Hawk says, several times when shooting protests around the San Francisco Bay Area, I've been threatened by Antifa. They've threatened to kick my ass, to destroy my camera. I typically keep my distance from these assholes, but I've watched them beat other photographers and destroy other people's cameras. Photography is not a crime. It's a First Amendment right repeatedly upheld by our courts, and it's one of our personal liberties in America. Nonetheless, Antifa would seek to use force and violence to deprive you of your liberty. I'm not a fascist, yet I'm still subject to their threats and violence for my free speech and my hobby of photography. Frankly, I'm glad that they've now been named a domestic terrorism group. I'm glad that the full force of the federal government is coming down on them, and I hope they get their ass kicked in Portland. They are some of the most violent, intolerant, insufferable people you will ever meet. It's about time that they get a taste of their own medicine. Matt Van Swole showing before and after footage of Hurricane Helene. Cannot be overstated how resilient, kind, hardworking, and selfless the people of Appalachia have been to each other over the past year. And that's a good reminder to watch our documentary, Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way. 111, by the way. There we go. Magic numbers. Bill Maher on Friday blasts the lack of protests over Islamist groups murdering Nigerian Christians. They've killed over 100,000 Christians since 2009. They've burned 18,000 churches. This is so much more of a genocide attempt than what is actually going on in Gaza, Maher said. But why aren't they protesting? Jules said that U.S. aid is funding Boko Haram, a group responsible for terror attacks, especially on Christians in Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. Well, we need to do something to call this out and stop this, and ask why aren't there protests against the Christian massacres in Nigeria? President Trump said it was just revealed that the FBI had secretly placed, against all rules, regulations, protocols, and standards, 274 FBI agents into the crowd just prior to and during the January 6 hoax. This is different from what Director Christopher Wray stated over and over again. That's right. As it now turns out, FBI agents were at and in the January 6 protest, probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, but certainly not as law enforcement officials. I want to know who each and every one of these so-called agents are, and what they were up to on that now historic day. Many great American patriots were made to pay a very big price only for the love of their country. I owe this investigation of dirty cops and crooked politicians to them. Christopher Wray, the then director of the FBI, has some major explaining to do. That's 2 in a row. Comey and Wray, who got caught lying with our great country at stake. We can never let this happen to America again. Full investigation incoming. Remember, the guy who erected the fake gallows early morning J6 was tracked walking toward the FBI building afterwards, says DC Drano. His name was never released, but the media loved using those pictures of the gallows everywhere. Lieutenant Colonel George Hardy, one of the last surviving Tuskegee Airmen, has now passed away at 100 years old. May you rest in peace. WikiLeaks said Israeli-aligned billionaires seize TikTok in a battle for U.S. narrative control. White House announced that the forced sale of TikTok will be finalized this week. New ownership led by Larry Ellison, the largest individual donor to the IDF, will take control of U.S. user data and the algorithm with which the White House says will be retrained. Ellison, who made his fortune developing Oracle, a database system he originally built for the CIA, this is all according to WikiLeaks, already controls CBS, Paramount, MTV, Comedy Central, Showtime, Nickelodeon, which makes kids shows, as well as Channel 10 in Australia, Channel 5 in the UK. Ellison is also expected to finalize control over Warner Brothers Discovery, including CNN, HBO, and the Discovery Channel before the end of 25. Even before the forced sale is finalized, censorship of TikTok content critical of Israel, including of the deal itself, has reached extreme levels as the platform moves to align with its prospective new owners. Fox, a Murdoch asset, is also seeking to join the Ellison consortium, a move that could enable cross-promotion between Fox and TikTok, further tightening the Israeli-aligned information bubble. Disapproval of what Israel is doing in Gaza has risen to 60% of the U.S. population, nearly double the approval rate of 32%. The U.S. still has over 3 years of Trump left. Israeli-aligned Jewish billionaires control OpenAI, Google, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Palantir, CBS, HBO, and most of Condé Nast, which is Reddit, Vogue, New Yorker, Wired, GQ, Vanity Fair, as well as numerous Hollywood studios, regional papers, and radio stations. Europe, meanwhile, remains largely absent, offering little real competition in the information space. It's one real success story is Telegram, which it managed to comprehensively alienate after France arrested its founder, supposedly for not handing over enough user data. Will the EU and other U.S. allies align with the Israelified TikTok algorithm or attempt to create a politicized alternative of their own? Decentralized alternatives like Keat or Nostr offer strong resistance to censorship but are still young. Larger platforms like Telegram and RedNote carry serious risks of censorship, including eventual sell-off to other interests. For users, the sweet spot may be to use both, one for political reliability and the others for a politically temporary audience. And that's the gist of what I wanted to get to today. Now we know. And there's more stories that we're going to share on Instagram, more stories we're going to share on X, and more stuff we're going to talk about tomorrow. So please make sure you're following the TNAM Daily Show. Go on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube at The New American Media. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_media_, and subscribe to our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show, and The Unhappy Hour Sports Show on Spotify and Apple. As I mentioned, if anybody wants one of these awesome The New American Media mugs, shoot a $40 super chat over and send an email to Brian at The New American Media with your address, and I will pack and ship and mail this, shipping included. So like 10 of that is just shipping costs right off the top, by the way. It's essentially a $30 super chat that will go right back into funding The New American Media. If you want one of your regular mugs, John made a batch of them, and I will ship them to you. You can also send something in the tip jar. We're on Venmo and Cash App at my name, BrianEngelman, BrianEngelman, or on PayPal, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Kenneth, your mug is in the mail, by the way. Kenneth made the first order immediately. Kenneth is like, I want a mug. And I made sure I changed my day around. I made sure that I got it figured out, got it packed, got it shipped out. So keep your eyes peeled for a package, Kenneth. It should be arriving shortly. David Bann says, thank you, Brian. Thank you, David Bann. Danette says they want to censor people's ability to share real news. If they control the media, they control the narrative. Which is why it's more important than ever that there's the New American Media, because we're not just going to regurgitate propaganda. I don't give a shit. I don't have a horse in the race. I don't have a team. I don't care. I'm rooting for America. That's my team. There's no other thing that comes close. It's not Palestine. It's not Israel. Not to say I don't GAF, but I CAA. I care about America. That's where I'm approaching things from. I'm in charge of this. This is what I'm focused on. If other things are working in conjunction and helping us, then I'm about that. And if things are going to be a problem, then I would be against that. And I'm just trying to look for accuracy. So yeah, if they control the narrative through their lying legacy media, that's why we started the New American Media 14 years ago. So please tell a friend, grab share the show and text it to a couple of your smart friends and just ask, hey, we talk about the news each day at noon. Might change the time of the show at some point down the road, but for now, it's noon. Also, programming note, I believe tomorrow we'll have episode 6 or 7. I got to double check. Strictly Football with Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, and Ezrael Robinson going over last week in the realm of sports. That's Strictly Football tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Did an episode of The Unhappy Hour this morning. Check it out. We're talking about the Cleveland Guardians and the baseball playoffs. Go Tribe. Time to get that World Series win, that long elusive World Series win, would you? I'm so ready for it. Let's take one. But yeah, we're doing more shows than ever, and we're very close to unlocking more content, advertisements on our YouTube channel, which is great because millions of views and 1,900 videos. If there were advertisements on there, it's more tip jars, more pennies in the wishing well. I guess, like I say, every month, it's just another, in order to get access to the channels, to watch the things, for yesterday, 12 months, $180. It's another $15 monthly recurring charge. And it's like, just add it to the list. But we do have people on Patreon that are subscribing. We have people in Super Chats. We have people on Cash App and Venmo and PayPal. And it's like, you people are fantastic. You're appreciated. You regulars keep us going here. I'm a bartender. I work off your tips. If you stop tipping, I'm going to stop showing up to work. No, but I love this. I love doing what I do. And if you don't have alternative sources, you just have propaganda. And that's why we started it. We couldn't take the lies anymore. Daddy, no, don't go. Oh, I'm gone. But your mug is on its way. Once again, you too can have a mug. Red on the inside, white on the outside, blue on the stars. Danette is going to get a mug on Thursday. Hey now. Heck yeah. Don't forget, everybody else out there, I do have coasters for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. 4 of them, $30, shipping included. And I could combine shipping too, which would be cool if you want mugs and coasters. Marion says, happy to be back from vacation so I can watch your shows, but unhappy to be at work. Aww. Well, sorry to hear that, and thanks for that. Trash pandas unite. Exactly. Rifling through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. The trash pandas. All right, everybody, we'll be back tomorrow at noon. Might do a sports show in the morning if you happen to keep your eyes peeled. There might be another program. We'll see how it goes. But I'm signing out for now. On behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace. And go Tribe. Get that doggone World Series already. Take care.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.